Yesterday, we were reporting early on, because the details hadn't been really known yet, about what was going on at UCF.
Yeah.
We had heard that there had been a suicide, and we had heard that there were some other things going on involving some kind of explosives, but really the story hadn't been put together yet because they were still gathering evidence and trying to figure out what was going on. So we reported it for what we knew, and then also to let students and parents of students that are commuters to know that the classes were going to be canceled until noon, and then after that things were going to return to as much normal as they could. So then, as the day went on and the more evidence and more things started to come out about this student and what was going on and what could have gone on, the story grew, and it became like a wow, because these are stories that you hear about occasionally, and actually way too often, on college campuses and other campuses as well, but they're always somewhere else. And as it became more clear what had happened and what could have happened, and then watching the evening news last night, and it was the lead national story coming out of UCF, it was like, wow, we really dodged something here. And also, even though we dodged it, what's going on on the campus? What are people feeling? What are people thinking about? What kind of, steps are being taken to try and figure things out in the future? And also kind of a pat on the back to the security personnel out there at UCF for reacting so quickly, because I think it helped to avert what could have been a really bad situation. So the story got bigger and bigger, and it was right here in Orlando at UCF. So we have a lot of people here that work at the radio station on a part-time basis, intern basis, that are students at UCF. One of them is our intern, Alyssa, who is at UCF. And good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Thanks for getting up early. So,
no problem.
First of all, what were you thinking yesterday? And now that you've had some time to really process what could have happened yesterday, what are your thoughts about that?
The whole thing has just been bizarre. I don't know. I've had so many emotions about it. It started when I woke up. I had about 10 emails, UCF alerts, and they send them out all the time. We usually get one or two, and honestly, everyone ignores them, but the second I saw the number 10 next to my mail, I knew something really bad had happened, because we've never seen anything like that before. And as I started clicking through them, my jaw just unhinged. I could not believe what I was reading. And there's just so many emotions, because I was sad for the family, sad that there was a suicide, and at the same time, I'm so glad that it ended there, because we were seconds away from a mass school shooting. Which I'm just mind blown. It's something that we've all, we've thought about it previously, but it almost seems irrational to even let your mind go there. And this was the first time that it became real. And I thought my classmates, my friends, even myself, all just could have been killed in a second by a complete stranger. And it just makes me sick to my stomach.
Apparently the plan, he'd been working on it for a month or so. And the plan was he was going to pull a fire alarm in the dorm, and then people would go out like they were supposed to, and become his targets. The fire alarm did get pulled, but then apparently because people reacted so quickly, or whatever it was that made him change his mind, he went ahead and did the final thing before he got to the worst part of it. But I was just out there a week or so ago with the JDRF walk, spending a morning out there. And even I, who just, I don't go there that often, but I thought, man, I was right there. And it just puts you, I'm such on the peripheral of this whole thing, but I felt something yesterday, but wow, I was just there. And that could have happened at any time, anywhere.
Right. I think as a community, I think everyone really came together, and it was kind of amazing to see everyone unite and just bond over this, because it was already a tragedy, but it could have been such a bigger one, and it almost was. And I really think everyone in Orlando has been to UCF for one reason or another, and probably recently too. So it just is very unsettling, and it's so scary, because it's almost like a 9/11, where had this happened, we all probably would have been affected. We would have known someone, or if we would have known someone who knew someone that would have been affected, and it's really horrible.
What I was struck by was the fact that his roommate, who he pointed a gun at, hold himself up in a bathroom, but that he was the one who called 911 and alerted the authorities, that it really takes one person, because typically after something like this happens, we say, didn't someone notice something? Didn't someone see something? And granted, it almost got to the point where a lot of people's lives were either taken or damaged in some way, that this one individual made the call that needed to be made and set things in motion to save a lot of lives.
Right. That kid's a hero, no doubt about it. The second I read it, I mean, my heart goes out to that kid, because he probably will never be the same after dealing with something like that, but he did the right thing. And yeah, it really just does take one person, because he probably made this scenario do a 180.
Right, exactly, as you guys are saying. Talking to Alyssa, who's actually our intern, goes to UCF, and we're talking about what happened yesterday. You talked about you got about 10 emails from the campus, and that you normally get those, but this seemed like it was out of the ordinary because of the volume. When did the first one come in? Do you remember that? Did you check the timestamp on that?
It was periodically throughout the night. I slept through most of them. I believe it was probably around 1 in the morning, maybe even earlier. But it was the other thing about those emails that really caught my eye was that there were so many spelling errors, and it just looked like someone was in a complete panic trying to send them out as quickly as possible. Because I just never seen the school acts in such a professional manner that even something little like a spelling error had really caught my eye.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that must be it. They were just trying to get it out as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. This was a fluid situation. If you're talking about that timestamp, that was right when all that was going down. Right. So, all right. So, how do you carry on today? What's the thought? What are people saying? And I know there's been counseling available to students. What's the mood as we move forward?
Counseling has been amazing. They always have been. They're always available for students. They put themselves out there. I know that at 7 in the morning, they had counselors ready to talk to students that had been affected by this. They had food for them. They've been so great. UPD is the University Police Department. They've always been really quick to act whenever anything goes on. And I just want to point out that when a fire alarm gets pulled in a college campus, it's usually someone that's drunk when it happens in the middle of the night. So that's probably, I assume, what they thought they were responding to. So the fact that they came so quickly, it really makes me trust them more, because they probably thought they were coming for a different reason. I don't think anyone would expect to respond to something like that. So my personal feeling is trust UPD. I think it'll be even stricter now, but they've already done a great job. And everyone's uncomfortable, but I think it's kind of giving everyone a reason to appreciate what we have here even more. It made me, yesterday, I fell in love with UCF all over again, because I think it was handled so well.
It's a good thing to leave it on, Alyssa. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay.
Thanks for talking to me.
We'll see you tomorrow. That's Alyssa, our intern,
yes,
who goes to UCF, talking about what was going on down yesterday. All right, 7:14 at Mix 105.1.
Free Ticket Tuesday. Starring